Surge Audio is a company that's been around for a few years, and they've been well known for offering a great product for a fair price. Well, my friends, today we have another amp from Surge Audio to check out. This one is very unique though. It is not your standard monoblock. No, my friends, it is the most powerful 5-channel amp ever. More about that later in the video where we see the dyno test. Also, I suggest you check links in the video description over to Surge Audio, and depending on when you watch this video, there may be a discount code for the 5-channel amplifier we're showing today. So again, check links in the video description with more details there. Now back to the amp. This amp is rather large at 25 inches in length by 9 inches in width and 3 inches in height, millimeter equivalents are there as well. And when I said most powerful, 400 by 4 at 4 ohms, 625 by 4 at 2 ohms, 1250 times 2 bridged at 4 ohms, and then the sub channel, check out this. 1500 watts at 4 ohms, 2500 watts at 2 ohms, and 3500 at 1 ohm. Now that's 6000 watts total over 5 channels, definitely a full system amp, the PS6000.5. Now 5-channel amps can be somewhat complex when you see all the different features and settings and switches, but we're going to go over everything individually so you can understand it. First, we have RCA inputs for all the different channels. They're Tiffany style. Also, we have a power and protect LED. For channel 1, we have gain control. Then we have high pass filter off or on, 20 hertz up to 800 hertz. There are no low pass or times 10 settings. I think it's just because of lack of space, honestly. There are clip indicators for channels 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and also channel 5, so there's 3 separate indicators there. A mode switch allows anywhere from 2 to 5 inputs via RCA, which is always helpful. Channel 5 or sub-channel settings include gain, subsonic filter, bass boost, bass EQ, and low pass filter, which gives you complete control over your subwoofer, which also includes the remote. We'll get to that in a little bit. That'll control your sub as well. Now, channels 3 and 4 have more settings, including a high pass filter, times 10 factor, as well as a low pass filter. So a lot more options there on channels 3 and 4. Additionally, you have the remote outlet there for your remote bass cable to go into your remote bass knob. Also, the subwoofer output, or channel 5, is on this end of the amplifier for connecting your subwoofer. Now, looking on the other side of the amp, as you can expect with a 6000 watt amplifier, we've got some beefy inputs, including dual 1.0 inputs. The positives are on the middle, the negatives on the outside. That's just how the amplifier is laid out internally. That's why they have to do that occasionally. It's not my favorite way to hook up an amp, but that's just the way a lot of these Korean amps work. Also, channels 1 and 2 are on the top. You can see the setup there, and channels 3 and 4 are on the bottom with the positive, negative. Those are the over-under style connections. Now, if you want to bridge the amp, you will use the left positive and right negative from each channel. This 4-channel section can be used 4, 3, or 2-channel mode. Also, as previously mentioned, the subwoofer connections on the opposite side of the amp, they all accept up to 8-gauge speaker wire. The amp also includes a remote for the bass operation. This one is the one that has all the cool settings, including the power, protect, clip, thermal, voltage, temperature, all that good stuff built in to the control. Now let's get this beast hooked up to the SMD DeMoor Engineering Amplifier dyno so we can do the test. The dyno will show the following things. The power output in watts is on the left, the ohm load is in the middle, the voltage of the dyno is on the right. We will have all channels loaded during all the tests. First up, we're going to do the 4-channel section, 4 ohms. Again, we're going to be showing 2 of the channels tested. 2 of them are going to be loaded, as well as the subwoofer channel being loaded as well. So let's start up here. Certified test first, 1% THD. We are using a 1 kilohertz track, so it's probably not loading that sub channel very much. Rated 400 by 4, 435, and 454. Certified to 1% distortion. Now let's switch over to the uncertified test, which takes us up to clipping. And something pretty much consistent through these tests is the clipping and the 1% distortion are very close. In this case, just a little bit less because I ran the test back to back most likely. Dynamic power into 4 ohms. Again, this is times 4, so right at about 380 watts times 4. Next up, we'll try 2 ohms, where we have all 4 channels loaded at 2 ohms. We're going to test 2 of the 4. So here we go. Again, connected up using all the channels, including the sub channel. Certified test first to 1% distortion, rated 625 by 4. What are we going to get? Oh yeah, right about 700 watts average times 4 at 14.46. That is crazy power for a 4-channel. Uncertified to clipping, again, right at 700 watts, just a little bit under 700 watts, 14.44. What about dynamic burst? 1 kilohertz track. And here we go. Pretty close. There it goes. It's counting up. Close to 700 watts, about 694 by 4. Now let's take the 4 channels and bridge them down to 2. Shown here with a graphic. Use the left positive and the right negative from each channel. Let's try it first on the certified test. This is a 1 kilohertz track. Certified to 1% distortion. Can we get that 1250? And yes, over 1300 watts times 2, 14.7. Now uncertified up to clipping, again 1 kilohertz track here. I expect we're going to get right about the same, and yep, right around 1300 watts times 2, 14.7 volts. What about dynamically? Let's send that pulse track of 1 kilohertz into the amp, and there you go. Again, close to 1300. Yep, there you go. Pretty much 1300 average times 2, 14.93. Next up, we're going to check the subwoofer channel. Again, all 4 of the main channels are going to be loaded as well. And we're going to hook up the subwoofer here channel here via 8-gauge wire. First up, we're going to try 4 ohms, 40 hertz, rated 1500 watts. Let's see what we get. There you go, 1604, right at 14.47. Next up, we'll try uncertified up to clipping. Again, 40 hertz track. All the channels are loaded. A little bit more, 1613 watts, right at 14.42. Next up, dynamic power, 40 hertz pulse track. There we go. Inching up on 1700, 1693 at 14.57. Now let's load the sub channel at 2 ohms. All the other channels are loaded at 4 ohms, but all the crossovers are turned off. So this is essentially loading down the entire power supply of the amplifier doing these tests. This is a worst case scenario. Certified up to 1% THD, 2707 at 14.5. So we're getting that 2500 easily. Uncertified up to clipping, 40 hertz track. Can we get more than 2705? Yeah, 2733, right at 14.43. That's for the win, getting it right at 14.4. Dynamic. We're going to have a little bit more voltage here due to the lithium bank, but 3134 watts at 2 ohms, 14.57. Now we're going to do the 1 ohm test on the sub channel. Again, all the other channels are loaded at 4 ohms. All the crossovers are turned off. So let's see what we get here. Certified test first. Are you ready? Rated 3500 watts. We get 3807, right at 14.42. Again, this is crazy. A 5-channel amp that does over 3500 on the sub channel. This is insanity. Uncertified 3893, almost 3900 watts at 14.34. And dynamic, check this out. Over 5,000 watts dynamically on the sub channel at 14.73, 5550. Here's a recap of all the results for all the tests we just showed. Amazingly powerful 5-channel amp, single system amp for bass heads. This does your 4-channel, does your sub channel, it does literally everything, and it puts out crazy amounts of power, has all the features you need. Now, we didn't do efficiency because counting efficiency on 5-channel amps is extremely difficult, so we just passed on that. Now, if you want to see lower than 1 ohm, I'm going to tease you now, but watch all the way to the end and you'll see it. Now, this amp does have an acrylic bottom, but we'll take that off so we can see the amplifier closer and what's inside. And here on the bottom, you will see the Surge logo there where the fan is. That's pretty cool. Also, the acrylic bottom on these are very thick, so you don't have to worry about them cracking if you have to take the bottom off and put it back on. You shouldn't have to take the bottom off, though. I'm doing it here for you so we can take a closer look. And we'll flip it over. Can definitely see the beefiness on this amplifier. See those large capacitors there. See the large power supply section for all the 5 channels. We have 160 volt, 1500 microfarad, 85 degrees Celsius SAMHAs. And we have caps on 3300 microfarad, 63 volts as well. Again, the main benefit of this amp is 5 channels all together, so you get your sub channel and your 4 channel. Let's talk about the pros and cons. First up, Rated Power Plus, of course. This is a full system amp. It can handle everything. It does have active cooling, variable subsonic. It does have Tiffany style RCAs, which you can also switch between 2, 4, and 5 channel input. And the bass remote is very nice, very functional with all the features that you need. Now, things considered, the amp is large, 25 inches long, but again, it is a 4 channel plus a large monoblock. Upgrade electrical is required. It only has a single subwoofer output. It'd be nice to have 2 different terminals. Front channel crossover is limited compared to the rear channel. And is it low-ohm stable? We'll find out here in just a minute. In full disclosure, Surge Audio paid a video fee to have this video shown on my YouTube channel, but the amplifier tests are what they are. Also, they didn't have any input as far as what I said. All the thoughts expressed in this video are mine. Thank you guys always for watching. Make sure you stick around for the low-ohm test. Big D, I'm out of here.